This episode of Chains is sponsored exclusively by Charlie Foxtrot Brewing. Ask about beers from this veteran-owned brewery in tap rooms across Southwest Florida and Western North Carolina. Thank you for supporting our veterans.
Chains, Episode 29. Written by Dustin Onash. Voiced by Eric and Dustin Onash.
Okay, we're recording now. Go ahead and state your name.
Victor Alexander Ahlstrom.
And do I have your permission to record our conversation?
Well, that's why we're here, isn't it?
Well, also I need you to give permission. Can I have that?
Yes.
Thank you. Also, don't worry about misspeaking or anything like that. I'll be editing this down for the lawyer.
Yeah. To be honest, I'd rather this not be taking up my time. We're short-staffed as it is, and you know exactly why.
I understand. What happened is a horrible tragedy. I can't imagine the pressure your department's under right now.
Well, it's only my department for the next few weeks. I'm the Interim Corporal until Haynes gets back from suspension.
Ah, understood. Well, first things first. Do you know Aeolus Ramsey?
Oh, you mean Les? Yeah, a fine officer, an outdoorsman, a gentleman. I trust him with my money, my wife, and my life. Sometimes has a little too much energy for his own good, but I guess we all have that in those years.
Yeah, I understand. How did he take the news of Hercules Ramsey's disappearance?
Well, he was just about to go on a long shift when we got the official news, after they found Bill's cruiser.
Right. Oh, wait, Bill?
Yeah, he was Bill to us. Hercules was more of a family name.
Ah, understood.
No one would have been able to tell by talking to him or looking at him that his brother was missing. I know they're uncle and nephew, but brother is more accurate because they're so close in age. We all took the news hard. He seemed to not take it at all. There were no incidents, during his shift, that is.
Other than that, did he seem off at all that day?
I had that same cruiser directly after him. He left his whole kit in the trunk. Uniform, belt, gun, badge, all of it. I should have known at that point.
Well, it's hard. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day.
Hell, I was using the day-to-day to cope at that point. We all looked up to Bill. You can only take so many hits before things start to go bad, no matter how hard you push.
Right, I know what you mean. Did Les seem dissatisfied with the investigation into Bill's disappearance?
There was no outcome other than finding him alive that any of us would have been satisfied with. If you mean, did the investigators do their job? No. He was less than a mile from the crash site.
Was there any sign that Les may have been unstable before the event, I mean?
He was as stable as any of us.
Well, if you have a look at this reprimands and warning sheet, you'll see that the list has grown over time. In fact, he's gotten more than anyone else in the department.
Bill was particularly hard on him. Neither of the Ramseys wanted to be treated different by the other, and we all respected that.
So would you say that the record isn't necessarily reflective of his performance?
Look, Les was the second best cop in the department, full stop. Everyone knew that.
Okay. The next page is the entire rest of the department's reprimands and warning sheet. Careful counting will show you that Les had 2 more than the entire rest of the department. So let me clarify. You're saying that Les's behavior wasn't a factor in that trend?
It's much simpler than you're making it out to be. I don't understand the point of all this.
Okay, Corporal Ahlstrom.
That's officer.
Okay, we have to work in data, and this is the data we have. I know my questions are hard, but you were the first officer on location at Penelope Farm.
Technically, Haynes got out of the car first.
Okay. So this is exactly why we need you to tell us what happened. No one else was there, around Les, that knew him during that time.
Your questions make Les out to be some kind of unstable maniac, and... Nah, man, I'm not having that.
Oh, so a stable cop ditches his uniform, badge, and gun in a trunk. Sets out alone to find a missing relative with nothing but some light backpacking gear, finds a cult, and instead of waiting for backup, rallies a neighbor and shoots up the place? Okay, look. Questions are gonna come up. They'll be more insulting than anything I'll ask. Les has been in a mental facility, hasn't spoken to anyone since the incident. 4 months and 26 days. It's likely that he won't make it to court, which makes you the de facto proxy for the entire sheriff's department, whether you like it or not.
Not.
Great. Like I said, either way, when people look at you, they'll see less. So if you want people to see a stable officer, then be that stable officer, instead of the standoffish, petulant jerk that you've been since we sat down. I'm sorry. I have nothing but respect for you and...
It's fine. I didn't think you had it in you.
Had what?
Well, lawyers have the reputation where they're all...
I'm not a lawyer.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just a legal assistant with some audio engineering experience. It's weird, I know, but the lawyer has this thing where he reads while listening to other things relevant to the case, so he hired me to do these interviews.
Yeah, that is weird, but okay, I understand.
Let's start over. It would help if you were a little more forthcoming with the information this time.
You got it, boss.
So, you were saying that the rather long list of reprimands and warnings on Les's record are less related to his behavior and more indicative of Corporal Ramsey wanting to be perceived as someone who didn't play favorites.
Yeah, Bill was harder on Les than any other person in our branch.
And how did Les take this treatment? Was there ever any resentment or animosity between them?
No, never. We were all made better under Bill's leadership. He had quirks, like staying at the diner for 2 hours every morning. At first we thought he just wanted to take an early break, but then we met him there once. That was no break. It was more like a community onslaught. We never thought anything about it after that. Oh, and then there was his revolver. No idea how he got away with using that, but by that point I was done questioning his methods.
Right. Quirks indeed. How did Les look when you got there?
Well, we heard about the fire and the gunshots from that radio show, Reactin' Randy or whatever. We didn't find out until later that the phones were down for the whole day. Anyway, once I realized how close we were to where we found Bill's cruiser, I started to get this terrible feeling. Have you ever had that feeling where reality slowly starts checking off the boxes of worst case scenario? You know, the I better not be right feeling?
Yeah, I think they make a pill for that.
Ugh, I wish. Anyway, seeing Les there was the final straw. Seeing him come out of that house. He was bloody, drained, and something else that I still can't put my finger on. If I had to put a word to it, I guess it would be shell shock, but that's not quite right.
So he was in a poor state already?
Yeah, definitely. Neither of us recognized Bill. Me and Haynes both looked right at him. Haynes even tried to take a pulse. The state he was into, horrifying. Burns, cuts, bruises, creepy blue painted face. He was tortured.
Right. While we're talking about Corporal Ramsey, how likely is it that he was participating in the cult rituals?
Very unlikely.
Understood. And like I said,
Even if he was involved with cult rituals. Look, like I said, Bill had his quirks. He did things his own way and in his own time. But even if he was involved, he was either forced or it was the best way to resolve that situation. I'd follow him into a burning building. Don't ever doubt that. I've heard the rumors and they're bullshit.
I don't suspect there's anything to them either.
People just talk and it gets to the point where they don't even remember who the hell they're talking about. It's like people that died somehow become abstract after being the subject of stupid chatter for so long. And they're not even here anymore to defend themselves. It really kills me, man. It really eats me up.
Yeah, I understand. It can be really hard.
Ask me another question.
I just have the last one. It's kind of rough.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you think it's possible that Les meant to kill his uncle?
Not in a million years would Les point a weapon at a potentially innocent man. Wait, Bill was hit with a shotgun, right?
Well, yeah, but...
Les didn't have the shotgun when we came on scene. The neighbor did.
Well, Les admitted to shooting him.
I bet he didn't do it.
Huh.
I bet he's covering for the neighbor. That's exactly the type of thing he'd do. Listen, I'm not saying that they knew it was Bill, but I'm ready to say that Les did not have the shotgun when we got there. When I went inside, the neighbor had it. I remember because when he grabbed old lady Penelope, I took the pistol out of his hand. I bet the neighbor shot Bill.
Oh, wow. Well, we definitely have some work to do. I wish this made things less complicated, but it doesn't. It really, really doesn't.
No, I guess not. But it does get us closer to the truth.